Party.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my question is for the Premier. People want to believe in Ontario, but they're losing hope. Creating a bright future is going to take action in this province, Speaker, and it's going to take action now. Monday's throne speech, sadly, was a missed opportunity. Instead of action, Ontarians got yet more disappointed by this Premier and her government. People deserve opportunities for better jobs, Speaker, a life that they can afford, and the services that they can count on. Why won't this government start focusing on the priorities that matter to the people of this province?
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, our plan is 100% about growing the economy, creating jobs so that people can have access to those resources that they need, Mr. Speaker, and so that we can, as a government, reinvest in the people in this province. Ontario is one of the leading jurisdictions in the country in terms of economic growth, Mr. Speaker. The last 2 years, 6% growth. We're projected 2.5 and 3% growth over the next couple of years, Mr. Speaker. Our unemployment rate is below the national average. Since I've been the Premier, Mr. Speaker, we've created over 200,000 jobs, or been part of creating 200,000 jobs in this province, Mr. Speaker. The success story that we're seeing right now, Mr. Speaker, is because of the investments that we've put in place. It's because of the plan that we have been implementing, Mr. Speaker. We're on track to balance the budget, and what that means, Mr. Speaker, is that we are able to make investments, help people in their lives every single day, including free.
Thank you. Supplementary.
Speaker, people across Ontario say that privatizing Hydro One is something that they expected the Conservatives to do. They expected that to come from a Conservative government, Speaker, not what they hoped for from this Premier. On Monday, the government said it was, quote, dedicated to reducing electricity costs. That means stopping the privatization of Hydro One. Plain and simple, Speaker. So, will the Premier do the right thing and stop any further privatization of Hydro One?
Thank you. Premier.
So, Mr. Speaker, as I said, the plan that we have put in place is working. We are seeing the results of the investments that we are making. And, Mr. Speaker, I have acknowledged many times that we have had to make difficult choices. We've had to make difficult decisions in terms of making the investments that are necessary. But unlike the ideological position that the leader of the third party is holding on this, Mr. Speaker, we understand that in order to be able to invest in transportation infrastructure in this province, we need the funding to be able to do that. We need those resources. And so, Mr. Speaker, we are making those investments. We are taking an asset that has been owned by the people of Ontario and continuing to control and regulate that, Mr. Speaker, but recycling that asset so that we can make the investments that we know people need so that the transit, the roads, the bridges, that they have those in place now so that their economies can thrive, so that they can have the future that they deserve.
Thank you. Final supplementary.
Well, Speaker, I didn't realize that 80% of the people of Ontario share my ideology. That's fantastic. In fact, what 80% of the people have is a shared value, and that value is the value of having Hydro One as a public asset that operates in the public interest. It's about knowing what your values are, Speaker, and sticking to them. That's what it's about. Look, on Tuesday morning, the Premier was asked how long Ontarians can count on her new rebate for hydro. She said this just changed that they're making permanently, but then on Tuesday afternoon, the Minister of Finance was asked the same question, and he wouldn't give an answer. That actually doesn't really give us very much confidence, doesn't give the people of this province very much confidence. And so the question, Speaker, is this: why doesn't this Premier just clear things up and actually take the HST off the hydro bill once and for all?
Well, Mr. Speaker, you know, on the one hand, the leader of the third party wants to move quickly, and on the other hand, the process she puts forward would take months and months and months to accomplish, Mr. Speaker. So we're bringing bringing in legislation that will do exactly the same thing. It will take the provincial portion of the HST off of people's bills, and I would hope that the leader of the third party and her team would not stand in the way of that legislation, but would work with us to get that legislation passed so that we can, on January 1st, 2017, make sure that the provincial portion of the HST is taken off of people's electricity bills.